Hey YouTubers, I know I say this a lot, but please make sure to go check out Kevin over at the Golden Scouter. The guy makes some really awesome content for this Dragon Ball community, and if you go support him, I know he's going to make more and more of that stuff that is pretty unique and interesting to his own brand of content creation. Personally, I really feel like this guy has some really awesome opinions about Dragon Ball Super that not a whole lot of the community actually shares. And if you want a new and interesting viewpoint on the latest episodes of Dragon Ball Super, that's probably the place to get it. So guys, please make sure to go check him out. But with that being said, I really hope you guys enjoy the video.
Hello everyone, it is I, the Golden Scouter, and I'm going to be your host today, especially if you're listening to this being re-uploaded on Mark's channel. Without even having to say anything, you know who the guest is today on my channel, so how are you doing today, Mark?
What's up, man? Always a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having me. And also, like you said, guys, if you're listening to this on my channel, I want everyone to go down to the description section below and go subscribe to the Golden Scout. The guy makes some really awesome content, so please make sure to do that. When you told me about this, man, I was stoked.
Yeah, we never actually really talked about this either, so this is a totally fun discussion that we're going into blind right now. So there's nothing here that we haven't rehearsed anything or anything like that. But today, we're going to be talking about something that's pretty unique, but kind of at the same time not that unique, because a lot of people have been talking about Frieza possibly being a mainstay in the series. And what possible reason could he be a mainstay of the series? Well, what I was thinking about was perhaps Frieza could be the one who raises Universe 7's mortal ranking. I mean, Beerus was saying earlier in the Universe Survival arc, like, oh my gosh, like, I don't do a good job, and basically Frieza was the one who was doing all this work. And I don't know, like, it was kind of implied in a lot of ways that by Frieza dying, that hurt Universe 7's mortal ranking. It wasn't explicitly stated, but I think Whis actually basically hinted to that. So, if Frieza's going to stay in Universe 7, obviously I think he can't be allowed anywhere near Earth, because I think that he would probably just destroy it as soon as he's next to it. Because Frieza's a bad guy and can't be trusted. I'm pretty sure even after this tournament, and even if like somehow he were to get revived, say Goku actually did keep his promise and like went over to Namek or something and revived him with the Dragon Balls, we know Frieza's going to be an asshole and probably go over to Earth the first chance and destroy it. So, my thing is, I think that Beerus and Whis could set limits for Frieza. Like, say, you're not allowed anywhere near this jurisdiction. Like, say, just where Earth is located in whatever galaxy. The galaxy far, far away. What do you think about that, Mark?
I mean, I really like the idea. First of all, it's just really weird. I mean, we have to kind of say that this is actually really weird. It probably won't necessarily happen, but that's one of the things we actually really like discussing, is the very fact that it might not happen, but isn't this a fun discussion based on stuff that we know from Dragon Ball Super? I personally like the idea because Frieza being somewhat of a emperor or a ruler, he didn't necessarily blow up a lot of planets. In fact, I believe it was mentioned and discussed at length throughout the community before Super even came out that Frieza wasn't necessarily going to blow up planet Namek. He did it out of a desperation thing. He used to, I mean, if you don't remember, he used to take his army, conquer planets, and then sell those planets to high bidders. It's one of the things that he did with, or at least the anime implied that he did that with the Saiyans, although we know that's not necessarily true. So anyway, I believe that this concept of him staying in Universe 7 and becoming somewhat of a balancing situation where, although we know Beerus is somewhat lazy, he goes around, he sleeps all the time, he doesn't necessarily do his job very well, and then potentially when Frieza was actually there and he was even giving Frieza some instructions as to, you know, go blow up planet Vegeta, I don't necessarily want those crappy Saiyans, they're not really evolving the best way they should be, it probably was allowing some kind of equalization force. One of the things we saw before the Tournament of Power even started was the Universe 9 gods talking about how Frieza was a better god of destruction than, I don't remember the guy's name, but the bearded dwarf guy, god. And that really kind of brings up a lot of questions, is whether or not Frieza would actually be good at the job, and then whether, like you said, him actually policing the universe as an emperor ruler who would either have the power to destroy a planet or make sure that the people on the planet were actually in a better position than when he found them, giving them armor, giving them some kind of stability, and probably sharing technology throughout most of the planets that he actually ruled, was actually making the mortal level for the entire universe that much better. And potentially, like you said, it would be kind of an interesting little, I guess, turn for the story to indicate that Frieza was better for the universe than Goku. This arc has already said that Goku has been terrible for Universe 7's mortal level because he just goes around and he fights and he doesn't necessarily do anything of greater value. And it would be really interesting, just a twist, that like everyone that Goku has beaten up until this point, or not everyone, but most of the big people Goku has beaten up to this point, were actually much better for the universe as a whole.
And now that makes me wonder, like, what would have happened if Cell would have survived and just destroyed everything? Because he said he was just going to go and, like, teleport to world and every single world that he could find and just destroy it immediately. But even, like, going back to what you were saying about Frieza raising the mortal ranking, he was definitely doing it just coincidentally, because he wasn't doing it consciously, like, oh, like me being a selfish emperor, a dictator. Like, he's doing that for his own self-gain. Like, even if he was raising the mortal ranking in the past, he was definitely doing it just by coincidence. But this time, Beerus or Whis can actually tell him, like, a way to run his empire that's maybe not only more efficient, but can raise the mortal ranking and give Frieza an actual justification to stay in Universe 7.
I know a lot of people have talked about Frieza becoming, like I said, the god of destruction. And what would really be funny, like you said, I want to kind of go off on a little bit of things. So he might not necessarily stay in Universe 7, but let's talk about him as a god of destruction at some point. Like you said, they've already hinted at it one way or another that Frieza could potentially be a god of destruction. He has the same mentality, as the right mentality. Potentially, let's just say, do the MJ thing and paint a picture. Let's say that after all this is said and done, Frieza gets, I guess, his wish. And we don't necessarily know what Frieza's really planning right now. He has threatened Zeno under his breath twice now, or at least he's threatened Zeno under his breath, and now Whis has basically been our window into what the audience should be thinking, not only in this arc, but the last arc and the Future Trunks arc. So he's sitting there, I guess, understanding or speculating that Frieza could potentially use the wish to kill a god of destruction, or maybe even kill Zeno, because we don't necessarily know the limits of those particular things. It would be interesting if Frieza were to make a wish, and this is really crazy, I know, I want to draw a line for a lot of people, but if anyone remembers Aladdin and then the directed VHS sequel where they fight Jafar as a genie, I know that's
stuff,
really
yep,
weird.
I remember it.
I know that's really weird, but I think it's really analogous to what I think could potentially happen here. Is Frieza actually introduces a wish that would make him a god of destruction, or at least on par with a god of destruction, and as his punishment, he gets to actually stay alive. Considering now he's a god, he's kind of beyond the mortal plane, because as we've seen with the Elder Kai, you could be dead, or even King Kai, you could be dead, but you still have a physical form and are allowed to basically walk around. But instead of actually being a god of destruction in Universe 7, or being allowed in Universe 7, Zeno has so much fun in this particular tournament that he brings back all the other universes, or something like that. Maybe brings back all the life forms that died in other universes and puts them in a brand new universe, or something else like that. And he appoints Frieza as the god of destruction. So now Frieza can't necessarily be an emperor, but he basically gets his wish somewhat, and he's away from Universe 7, and he can't attack Earth or anything else like that. Plus, we get to kind of keep him as a mainstay character, but he's never really seen all that much unless the story absolutely demands it. I think that would be kind of cool.
It would, and it fixes the main problem with Frieza coming back, and that's him being on Earth, because, like I said at the beginning of the video, I can't see Frieza coming back and coexisting like on Earth, or even anywhere around Earth. So, yeah, I mean, you should probably write Super, because that was awesome. I enjoyed listening to that.
the thing is like, yeah, because it does kind of open up the idea that Frieza could potentially come back, and then we can get like a new Battle of God situation, like Beerus versus Frieza, or Goku and Vegeta fusion versus Frieza, or something else like that. I know a lot of people are burnt out on Frieza, and I was too. I'm totally burnt out on Super at this point. But one of the things I want to just kind of punctuate this is, this tournament, I think, has brought a lot more interest in Frieza than the Fakatsu no F movie and or the Fakatsu no F arc, because it kind of gives us an indication of what we should be expecting from Frieza, and it opens the door for more possibilities for him in the future. And Frieza is not a terrible character by any means, but it's just that he was kind of regulated to being this person who would just so easily being taken out by Goku or Vegeta at some point during the course of the series. If you give him the god of destruction power, if you put him in another universe, if you kind of sequester him into something else where something bigger has to happen in order for him to actually get back into the story, and it's not just him kind of at Earth's door every single day and Goku and Vegeta having to fight him off, I think it opens up the possibility for better stories in the future.
I think so too, and especially with the fact that they can actually use him more sparingly, because one of the things is, with the Future Trunks arc, I think that Future Trunks is an awesome character, but I wouldn't want him to return in Super again anytime soon, just because he's one of those characters that he's not there very often, so whenever he is there, you're just like, holy shit, this is awesome, I get to see this character again that I love.
I completely agree. One of the things I'm really hoping for is that this tournament actually ends up writing a way that we could see Frieza be more prominent in the future without necessarily going straight back to Heffel or something. Because
or reviving him 1,000 times.
or keep reviving him or figuring out different ways to bring him back. If they're going to like to keep him around, and he definitely sells toys, let's figure out a way to keep him here. So like, I think you have a really good opinion here, where if Frieza does in fact increase the mortal level, he does have the mentality of a god of destruction and a good god of destruction, then maybe Zeno might have some, not necessarily care about putting him or pointing him to that mantle and having him police this new universe or a universe that was doing really bad and seeing how it goes.
Yeah, definitely, just trying to figure out ways to build Frieza up beyond just this tournament of power. But do you have anything else to contribute to this discussion before we wrap it up for today, Mark?
No, I think I'm pretty much done. Thanks for having me on, man, and this is a really awesome discussion. I never really thought about Frieza actually improving Universe 7's mortal level before, and it's actually really kind of funny to think Goku, having beaten Frieza, actually damaged the mortal level that much more, considering the fact that several years passed before even Beerus woke up, because Beerus had been asleep for 47 years, but he did tell Frieza, or 40-something years, I'm not necessarily sure on the exact time, but he had told Frieza to do some things before, so Frieza was kind of acting in Beerus' stead. And I think that that's super interesting.
It is really interesting, definitely. But guys, if you're on my channel, make sure to sub over to Mark from Real to Real. I'm going to be leaving the links to his channels below, one Dragon Ball and the other movies, box office, TV shows.
And guys, if you're on my channel and you're watching this video, please make sure to go down to the description section below, hit that link, and please make sure to go subscribe to the Golden Scouter. I say this all the time. One of the reasons I started working with him is not only is Kevin a really awesome guy, but he also makes some of the most interesting, unique, and original Dragon Ball content videos out there, with the drinks and food recipe videos, the speculations, lists, and everything else that he does, so please make sure to go check him out.
But guys, with that, you guys have a good day and enjoy Dragon Ball Super.